Hello, my fellow Descendants! This is Mloentje, and welcome back. Guys, 5 days ago I brought out an episode that had me unlock and farm and build Ultimate Valby. This video was from 2 weeks ago. Yes, you heard it correctly, 2 weeks ago. What have I been doing in those 2 weeks? I've been resetting Ultimate Valby over and over and over and over and over again. Like, holy crap. Let's quickly do the math because I can't even remember how many times I reset her in the couple past weeks. And I know there's a lot of people that probably do this in a weekend. For me, this is kind of, well, semi-casual gaming. I try to do as fast as possible, but yeah, let's go over it. So we got ultimately when we started, we actually had 4 that were already set. Right, so we're gonna do the math and then minus 4. So we got 1 reset here. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 resets minus the 4 that we actually had at start. So modules, the submodule, or the, what the hell was it called? Module socket type. So 20 minus the 4 is 16. So 16 times that actually reset Ultimate Valby to make the 3 builds that I feel I'm gonna use. Now, the first build I kind of wanted to do, guys, was how big can we go? And I think that's a build that a lot of people are like interested in. How big can we go? Now, before we actually took a look at that, we actually went to access info and then just typed in range. And this is all the mods right now in the game that have a modifier for range. Multi-talented. For instance, when using tech active skills, your skill effect range and power modifier are plus 4% for 5 seconds. So basically you get 4% more range when you use tech active skills with multi-talented. We got amplification control for 13% or 9%. Frugal mindset. We got maximized range, skill expansion, and RK acceleration. Now, range increase modifier is a weird one. It kind of doesn't work at this moment like it should. I've been looking up on the forums as well, of course. They're saying just don't use it because it just doesn't work. And skill speed apparently only works for the speed on what projectiles fly. So I was like, yeah, that's not gonna be any useful, whatever. And then yeah, multi-maneuvering and long distance maneuvering. There's range in this mod here. So that brings out these mods as well, of course. So if we go look in what I invested in, it's basically 3 mods, guys. Maximize range, skill effect range, 94.4%. But we lower our skill power modifier by 20%, which is a huge decrease, guys. We've got skill expansion, 92.3%. And frugal mindset, skill cost, 8.5% lower. And skill effect range, 22.2%. But we have more mods, right? So if we go in range, we had amplification control in here. Skill effect range 25.8% and max shield 18%. Like, that's a useful mod, right? Well, it's a range mod at the bottom here. Maximum range is also a range mod. And well, from what I could see online, skill effect range from maximum range was bigger than amplification control max range. And this is where I kind of feel like the subclasses in the mods need to go. Like, we do not need like range mods and range mods, because if I want to implement this one, you can see here a module of the same group is already equipped. And I feel this needs to go. Like, we have a limitation on how we can build our descendants with this. And in games where build diversity and like trial and testing, like I said, it took me 2 weeks to actually build these out and see, okay, which mod do I need to implement and what reset do I need to do. And like, I took my time to actually think about it. And there's still limitations to it. And why am I calling it limitations? Well, if we look at Plop, that has basically, if we look at all the skills. So let's look at we got bubble bullet here. So if we look at the small puddle, the range is 3 meters. If we look at the big puddle from Plop, it's 6 meters. Waterway range 2 meters. And then we've got laundry bomb, max expendable range 250%, fraction range 8%, whereas the continuous damage range is 2 meters. But all of them say Max expandable range, 250%. Right now in the game, we can only go to 208.9%. That is the max range you can get in the game, guys. And this is also why I am thinking later on there's going to be more expensive mods or other mods that are going to be able to increase our mod capacity or our range capacity to 250%. For now, I do believe, from what I heard, Bunny has like a 300% range. But 208 points, what is it? 208.9% is the max range you can get in the game. Doesn't make sense, right? They specifically say on a skill, this is the max range you can get, but in game they're not giving us that max range. That doesn't compute with me, if you know what I mean. So I'm thinking later on there's gonna be other modules that actually are gonna be able to let us go to the max amount of range, right? So for now, this is what we have to deal with. So if we pull out these mods, guys, this one, yeah, there we go. Let's save it up. We basically have 0 range in our mod. With this one being 6 meters, I do believe. Let's try to get to the center. Now you can see that the center of where the puddle is at. So let's quickly go like this, because else it's gonna kind of screw up what I wanna show you. So if I make a puddle over there or anywhere in that range, you can see that there's also a puddle created where I'm standing, right? This is kind of gonna be why, well, the test why I'm showing you this, that you actually create 2 puddles, is because if I want to create a puddle here in the middle to show you how big it actually is, there is gonna be a slight deviation in the puddle because where I'm standing. I cannot stand right on top of my skill. So the skill is gonna be a slightly off. Let's see if we can center this properly. So I think that should be centered properly. So you can see I'm going way further out here than I'm actually going out here, right? And that is because of the puddle that I created where I left off and the puddle I created where I actually jumped to. But this is the max range you can get without any range mods on it, guys. And that's just a little pathetic. So that's also why I wanted to go max range. So yeah, let's check out the range, guys, now that we actually so frugal mindset, skill expansion, and maximum range. There we go. Let's set it up. And let's try that again. Center as possible. Could be something like this. Now look at that, guys. Look at that range. That is just insane. And we can go bigger because we're not at a 250%. And you can make it even a little bit more nuts because, like I said before, you can actually create a puddle where you stand and one where you land, right? So if you find the right range, and I do believe it's around here somewhere.
Water playtime!
This is the range you can create. I think I can go a little bit further. But you can see with this, you can basically like shut down an entire room. Like an entire room. Now, if we look at what else we actually wanted to do with this build, it's like, okay, I got my max range. Now, what do I want? Well, I want to look at the cooldowns. Like, I want to make sure that the cooldown is faster than the actual duration. Or duration higher than the actual cooldown, right? So it's a guarantee 100% uptime. The cooldown for me right now, as you can see, is 15.6%. The duration is 15% because I have increased duration on here. It's 21%. So I've got a lot of leeway where I can just throw these around while they're still up. And you can create insane, I think. Let's go a little bit further. Do we still hit? Yeah, we still hit. Like, look at this range. And now if we go over here and we do exactly the same once it's, let's go here. Yeah, I love doing this. This is just so fun. And we do this. Look at the area of effect we can create, guys. Like that. Okay, it does fade away. Like, it's not like a complete line that you can keep, but that is like how big of a room you can clear with this. That is just so freaking amazingly fun. So yeah, skill cooldown, pretty important. Make sure that you can, and this is also something that I still need to work on. Like, how big can I make it? how fast does my cooldown need to be, and how long does my duration need to be. I do not believe with max duration. Actually, I haven't checked it out yet. Because what else do you want in your build, right? You want to have a little bit of damage in there. And that's where I kind of start making some mistakes. And earlier, I was thinking like, okay, so we got non-attribute and dimension on plop plop. Like the max range build is only for this one. Like I wouldn't see a reason why you would make max range on any other of these attributes. You want to have a little bit of range in there, but the only reason to go max range and actually lower your skill cooldown is just to make the circle bigger, guys. It's just like, look at how big of an area I can close down. But you still want to do damage, right? You got your cooldowns, you got your duration up, you got your range up, but you still want to make it do damage. Well, that's where the problem lies. You're lowering your skill power modifier by 20%. So you're going from 28% to 8%. And that is actually a big hit that you take with this. So if we go with this character here and we just do a bubble here, you see right now we're ticking for 13,900. So let's say 1,400. And we're doing almost no criticals. You can see this, right? We're doing no criticals whatever. That is real strange. There should be a couple criticals in there. Let's interact, laboratory settings. Yeah, that is really strange. Let's do 9. Spawn them in. Here we go. That's really... I should do some criticals. Yeah, there we go. So 13, 9, and 34... What is it? 34, 8. That's not a lot of damage, but if you look at the damage, you can see that it actually has the 2 attributes behind it. It both has the symbol, if you look properly, it both has the symbol of the non-attribute symbol you can see here, and then the dimension symbol it has here. So I was thinking, okay, like this skill is non-attribute and dimension, so it makes sense to go focus on non-attribute, focus on dimension, right? It's both those stats, so invest in both those stats. Well, apparently I was wrong on that one. You kind of want to focus on, because you can see here, we have non-attribute on all of our skills, right? But we have fusion on our bubble bullet and fusion on laundry bomb. We've got dimension on cleanup and dimension on plop plop. So I was like, okay, so what do we want to invest in? The focus on non-attributes is a battle mod. Non-attribute master is also a battle mod. Like, so we cannot do 2 mods that focus on non-attributes. Okay, so we cannot set up a build that actually works for all of our skills. Right? You see where I'm going with this? So it's like, okay, remove these. And then what do we need? Well, we need dimension, right? So focus on dimension. Let's put that one in there. And then, is there another dimension mod? There's Dimension Master. And Focus on Dimension is an attack mod. Dimension Master is a battle mod. So we can implement Dimension Master and Focus on Dimension at the same time. So unlike non-attributes, the specific dimension or fusion ones can be implemented at the same time. I was like, okay, so if you can implement them at the same time, isn't that going to increase our power? And the power increase actually comes from the skill power increase from Dimension Master, guys. Like if you look at, let's go back. So you would be thinking like, okay, so if we count both non-attribute and dimension together, that's the amount of damage that we're going to get, right? And that was the 34.8 crits that we were doing, or the 14k regular hits that we were doing. So focus on dimension. Dimension Master. So now we're only focusing on the dimension part and not on the non-attribute. But we are increasing our base skill power with 49%. You see where I'm going with this, right? Save it. Let's do that again.
Get sprayed!
43, 17. So focusing on one attribute is always, as far as I understand it in the 2 weeks that I've been building, guys, is always better than focusing in 2 different attributes, guys. The non-attribute one, I'm not, this is the first Descendant that I'm building out, completely building out, so I cannot say for sure that this is going to be for every Descendant. But this is what I notice with this Descendant, right? That is focusing on the dimension. If you have, I can understand like, Descendant, for instance. I'm not really sure if Bunny probably has like 2 different, she probably has like electricity and then another one. I think. I'm not really sure, but I think. So I do believe that focusing on the non-other one might actually be better than focusing on the electricity one. I'm like I said, I'm not really sure about that, guys. But that is what the game is telling me right now of this build. So for me, going into skill power, dimension skill power modifier, and then dimension skill power modifier and skill cooldown is actually better than focusing on the 2 attributes at the same time. The non-attribute and the dimension one. And that's where I came up with this build then. Now, you can see here that we do crits, but not a lot. This is where I have my next issue. Non-attribute supply moisture. That's from my Descendant mod. Skill critical hit rate 20%. Skill duration up 10%. As long as we... And then firearm critical hit rate up and trigger rate increase up with 2%. And that is while we are standing in water. So as long as I'm standing in water, I have 20% increased crit rate, right? Was okay, we got 20% increased critical hit rate. So what do we need to implement? Well, we need to implement critical hit rate mods, right? Where we can get to 100% critical hit rate. Every game I've ever played, if you have 100% critical hits, that means every one of your abilities does 100% critical hits. I've got front lines in here for skill critical hit damage and skill critical hit rate 27%, and emergency measures skill critical hit rate 64%, and skill critical hit damage 27%. So that gives us 92.3 skill critical hit damage and 92.3 skill critical hit rate. And 20% skill critical hit rate. So that's 112.3. But as you saw before, guys, I'm not critting 100% of the time. And this is something, again, it just does not make any sense. Like, we can go to 250% range, but there's no 250% range. We can go to 100% skill critical hit rate, but it's not 100% skill critical hit rate. Like, what the hell is this game doing to me? Like, I was so frustrated and so confused in the last 2 weeks. Like, holy crap, guys, this was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But yeah, there we go, guys. That was the build that I'm going for. Mid-air maneuvering, of course, in here, because it upgrades the capacity cost with 10, so we can get 10 more module capacities. Supply moisture starts at 16, I do believe. And if you upgrade it, you can see here that it eventually goes to 2. That it only costs 2 module capacity. So upgrading this one will make sure that it lowers the amount of modules that you actually are using. And with this build here, I was able to get my skill cooldown properly to 31%, skill duration 45%, skill power 49%. We're getting the dimensional skill power because we're focusing on dimension, because it does more damage than it would if we focus on non-attribute and dimension at the same time. And then, of course, skill critical hit damage, skill critical hit rate. We've got max HP from Battle of Stamina, skill duration again. Now, we could implement another mod in here, but I feel like I do want to... Like, this is my build that I kind of want to... that I kind of can use everywhere and still take some hits. Like, I don't need to be afraid to actually get, like, 3-shot from a boss in hard mode. And it still gives me some amount of damage, right? And it gives me, well, that was the only thing that I was looking at this build. It's 208% max range, guys. So yeah, enough about the max range. And, well, basically now you kind of saw a little bit of the setup that I'm using and the line of thinking that I have. And this is also why I kind of went deeper on this build and why I'm using the certain mods. Because now that we look at DPS, skill critical hit rate, 207%. Skill critical hit damage, 207%. Skill power, 49%. So focus on dimension, focus dimension master. So we're still going with these two because that is the highest one that you can actually get for cleanup and for plop plop. And then we've got skill cooldown, 68.2%. Skill effect range, 92.3%. And that is from skill expansion. So we're removing two other mods that have range to get more damage in there. Max MP with 15%. Skill duration, 36.5%. No additional HP, guys. This is a glass damage build. I wanted to see how high the damage would go if I just invested everything that I could see into damage. Again, emergency measures, skill critical hit rate, and skill critical hit damage. Frontline, skill critical hit damage, skill critical hit rate. Skill concentration, 115% skill critical hit damage. Skill expansion, because we still want to have a little bit of range. Nimble fingers for the cooldown. We do need cooldown, guys. Like, else it just won't work. MP conversion for skill cooldown. Again, skill extension for the duration of the skill. Focus on dimension, dimension master, and then skill critical hit rate 115%. And then of course supply moisture and mid-air maneuvering. If we look at our health right now, 3,863, guys. That is as glass buildy as you can get. Now I do have MP from max HP from most of these max shields. So this one needs to change to max HP, and this one is max HP as well. And I know what you're thinking, guys. Dude, you got a polar set on Valby. I have not gone into farming for the reactors. I've not gone into farming for the other components, the external components, guys. I've been mainly focusing on I want to build out my first character completely and properly. And then later on, we can actually go, because these are on the hard bosses, and I think the set for Valby basically doesn't actually drop yet. I know there's purples, but I haven't focused in any of that. But you can see here, like, that is as glass buildy as you can get, right? 3,663. Now, if we go back to our other one, where we actually had, in the range build, max HP 122, skill duration 8.8%. If we take this one, we go to 8,587. So that's already at a place where you can take a couple hits, right? We don't have a lot of shields, so why invest in anything that would increase a lower shield? That's just something you don't do. We got a pretty good amount of defense, but I didn't have the mods on my range build to actually go into defense. So I was like, okay, if we want a little bit of survivability, that's why we're taking Battle of Stamina. But playing damage, guys. Well, we want to do this. Now, why did I go for so many skill cooldown is, well, we kind of need to move to another location for that. So one of the main reasons why Valby became so important, or, well, maybe famous, I guess is the better word to say, is because of the farm behind me, guys. It's because of the Kuiper shard farm that Valby could do. Now, I'm not really sure if this is still the best Kuiper shard farm in the game. I'm right now at Fortress Hard, and we are going to the defense line Volk strategic outpost. It might be possible that there is a better one right now, but this is where Valby kind of got her fame from. So this is also why I'm taking you here. Now, if we look at the Descendant modules and actual skill, cleanup is the actual skill you want to use for your Kuiper shard farm. So this is also why it's really important that we can get our cooldown, stack cooldown, really, really low. And you can see here, I'm going to 7 seconds. The liquefied duration, so the amount of time that we spend traversing while liquefied, is 6.8%. And the duration of waterway is 20.5%. We still have a little bit of max range in there, so 3.8 meters. It's not a lot, but it's still a little bit of range in there. And we are not losing out on the skill power modifier. So again, if we go range, maximum range, lower skill power modifier by minus 20%. My DPS one doesn't have that one. So we remain at the, where was it? The 130.2% that we can actually do, right? Let's go take a look, guys. And that needs to go as well. Like that drop and slow from that drop, I feel that it kind of needs to go. So what is the intention? Is to have 100% uptime on your stacks of waterway. And you can see here that the cooldown of waterway and the uptime of waterway for me is 100%. The cooldown and the uptime is basically the same one. And now with max range and max damage, look at the damage numbers in a second, guys. Once these guys start spawning, let's go to the middle, clear this one out. Here we go. Because this is the most satisfying I've seen so far. 215,000 damage on waterway, guys. That is so fun to see. And you can see also we are critting a whole lot more now than we were doing before. And that's because we have 200% skill critical hit rate. Still not sure why we need to have 200% to actually be able to crit more, because 100% is 100%. 100% is... That's gonna baffle me for the rest of my life playing the first Descendant, I think, guys. Yeah, this is where Valby actually became famous, like her point per shard farm. Like I said, not really sure if this is the best farm in the game right now, or if it's still the best farm in the game. I guess that's a better state that I should say, but yeah, 215%, guys. 345 there? Wait, what? Was that on a boss? Go past the box here. Did we just do it? 350%? And because there's so many health orbs falling, I basically regen constantly, right? Now you can see that I have like 5,600 health. That's basically because I'm using a seasonal mod that gives me a stack of 5 increased health. So I'm going from 3,000 and bits to actual 5,600 health. But still, my shield is constantly down because I'm constantly taking hits. But I'm not getting killed because there's a big amount of health orbs dropping. And I'm basically replenishing myself. If there were no health orbs dropping, the boss would probably ultimately kill me. While this farm is still busy. So yeah, I'm gonna close off this farm, guys. But yeah, focusing on one element seems to be the better case, guys. 100% is not 100%. So get 200% in there. Get the most max amount of crit damage in there. And if you are sure that you can survive and your cooldowns are proper, maybe stick a little bit of HP. If I had the possibility, then I would stick HP in here. But I don't have the ability, because else I don't have 100% uptime on my waterway. There would be like little gaps in my waterway, and that is not something that I like. 100% uptime is 100% uptime. And there we go. Farm done. And an average farm here, should you not have realized this. Let's check out the results. I'm gonna get hit in a second. So I do have a booster of 30% on right now. I still have one in my battle pass, and I needed to farm anyway for the past 2 days. So 16 plus 5, so 21,000 in one run of 3 minutes, guys. So that's actually still, even if it's not the best farm still in the game, it's still a really, really good farm. So yeah, there we go, guys. This is why I built a max damage DPS to check out how high I can go, but actually still take into account that I want to have 100% uptime on waterway with cleanup, so we actually are able to farm properly on this Skyper Shark farm where Valby, again, like I said, got famous. And then an HP one. Guys, this is my first Descendant. We are gonna go back to Albion for that. Well, we don't actually have to go back to Albion for that. Let's do it like this. Really, normally I can get up there from the first get-go. Let's stand out of line of sight before I get one shot. You can see here, like, I don't have a lot of life left. So Descendant modules, guys. Why an HP build? Well, boss fights. We are going hard mode in well, we're going hard mode for Colossi, right? We have Void Intercept Battle hard, And, well, the Devourer is the next one. We got Pyromaniac, we got Swamp Walker, Obstructor, Frostwalker, Molten Fortress, so on, so on, so on. I do believe, and this is something Haza told me, for one of these bosses, Valby is key. If you don't have a Valby, the fight becomes almost impossible to actually beat. I cannot really... I think it's Molten Fortress, but I cannot be sure. Chill. Poison. Mining. I think it's Molten, but I cannot say for sure, guys. But there is a mod that Valby has that makes that fight so much easier, to the point where you could actually maybe even solo that fight. So if we go into, because this is also problematic for me, because that mod, I don't have it yet. So my HP build, my boss killing build, is still not really done yet. So if we check out Valb, Spiral Tidal Wave, guys. Ultimate Valby. Bubbles no longer bounce off the ground, but are now projectiles fired forward. Attract gluttony's impurities. So it's gluttony, guys. So gluttony spews out bubbles in the air. Oh, no. There's a machine on the floor that spits out bubbles, and you need to pull those bubbles towards gluttony to then destroy them. No. How did he explain it again? He shoots out bubbles. If the bubbles fall on the floor, then basically you freeze. Okay, so with this, you can basically launch those bubbles, like they will be pulled to your trajectory of your spiral tidal wave, to the bullet that actually now is a projectile instead of a bouncing object. And it will actually pull those bubbles towards you and actually put them in the air where they just vanish. So no frost on the floor. Now, there's also purple bubbles, and you kind of need to pull those to the boss to shoot those bubbles, so he goes out of his enrage gauge. So once we're there, guys, we will actually look at it properly. Right now, I can only halfly explain it. Acquisition info. Wait, what? No, Val. And then click here. Hard Molten Fortress. So we're gonna need to do Molten Fortress before we can actually get this mod. And it was like, okay, so it's a mod that I cannot get right now, but it can already start building on my HP build. And yet again, we go into mods, we type in HP, and these are all mods that I right now have that actually adjust the HP, right? So we got HP amplification, but again, it's an HP mod. Battle of Stamina, HP mod. I first upgraded Battle of Stamina, 122, and it was like, whoa, but HP amplification goes to 227%. But you do lower your shield with 36%. But our shield is already pretty low. So I don't even care if I should run without a shield. Because with it, with all of these, so we got HP amplification, increased HP, we got shield conversion, so increased defense in here, so a little bit more defense in here. Time distribution, skill cooldown, max HP. And then we've got focus on fusion in here, and fusion master in here. We got frontline in here, because I do still want to do a little bit of damage, and emergency measure. So giving us 92% skill critical hit rate, 92.3% skill critical hit damage, 93.7% fusion skill power modifier, skill cooldown 46%, skill power 49%, max HP 498.1%, defense 166%, and we lower our max shield with 73%, guys. And I think that is from shield conversion, doing 36.5% max shield, and HP amplification 36.5%. This is the highest amount of HP that you can get in the game right now, I do believe. And shield conversion, if we look at shields, because this was something I was discussing with Haza. So max shield weighted scales is 21%. Spear and shield, defense, skill power, right? Spear and shield goes to 162% or 161%. So shield conversion is actually better than spear and shields in total amount of shield that you are going to be able to get. Max shield 151%, 166. So this is why I'm using shield conversion in here, because it is the highest amount that we can get from a single mod. Now, I've got multi-talented in here, because this is also something that I'm going to need for that build. Because that build is solely going to invest into bubble bullets. Again, like I said, I do not have the mod yet, because that's Molten Fortress. So for now, Supply Moisture is in here. But once I actually have that one, that mod will apply non-attribute and fusion will go away, if I can understand Haza properly. And it would actually, what was it again? It will become a dimension skill. So actually I need to remove fusion then and put in dimension if that becomes a dimension skill. Right? Yeah. Wait. See, I hate not having the mod and having to talk about it, because that means I cannot actually see properly what they mean. Modules, and then let's go Val. Spiral tidal wave. Yeah, it doesn't say what it becomes. That is that's annoying. I do believe that it would change, because the reason you would use multi-talented in this build is because you want to have that extra skill cooldown, the 20.5%. So from everything that I understand and heard, that means that if you implement that mod, it will become a dimension mod, meaning that we actually need to remove focus on fusion and fusion master into focus on dimension and dimension master later on. Right now, I'm kind of thinking like skill cooldown, increased HP. I kind of want to do more damage in this build, guys. Because yesterday I was farming. Let's go to another farm. And I'll show you how much Bubble Bullet actually does. It scared me how much damage it's actually doing. We all know this cave, right? The bunny cave. So right now I'm in my DPS mode. And I switched out Fusion Master. I switched out, what is it? Dimension Master to Fusion Master. Because, well, Bubble Bullet has Fusion, right? And this is with the HP build later on, and with the other one, the Bubble Bullet doesn't become a bouncing bullet anymore, but it actually becomes a straight in line bullet. And if we wait now and actually implement this, if we top it off, 26, not too bad, 104 for ticks, it's actually not bad, right? 578,000, guys. Not sure if you actually saw that one. Let's wait again. Direct impact from Bubble.
Here goes.
485,000. So almost 500,000 that we can get on the actual. There it is. So if you want to use Valby here in the bunny cave, guys, what you need to do is aim for this spot here, I think. And let the bubble bounce as much as possible in the same location.
Take this.
No, that's not a good one. A little higher, maybe? Yeah, that is a good one. You can see the clarity of the water becomes wider and wider. It's puddles stacked on top of each other. Meaning every puddle, every layer of that puddle is gonna be... Wait, what? I didn't move my mouse. How can it not? Every layer of that water that it's laying is doing damage. And you can create some insane... Yeah, that's a good one. So you can see to the left of me, the water is like blue, but it's not like white. That's only one bubble. But if you let the bubble bounce on the same location over and over again, it really becomes really white, whitish blue. And that is just puddles stacked on top of each other. And every one of those puddles is gonna be doing damage. And you create something like this. Oh, yeah, now we are... So, yeah, let's go back to Albion a little bit, because I kind of want to test that further. But if we can actually do, like, 500,000 damage with, what is it, Descendant modules? If we can do 500,000 damage, guys, with Bubble Bullets, get that cooldown to like every 3 seconds that we can throw it, because right now the cooldown is 3 seconds for me, But then if we check out multi-talented, when using dimension active skills, when it transforms into the dimension skill, we get another cooldown reduction of 20.5%. Meaning that we are going to be able to cast Bubble Bullet over and over and over and over again in our damage build where it does 500,000 damage. And that is eventually that is eventually one of the damage builds I kind of want to work towards, but I cannot at this point in time. Simply because I don't have the mod yet. But you can see here, like, the line of thought that I'm thinking, right? But I think I've talked out long enough about my 3 builds, guys. We apparently did some side quests for today, so that is nice as well. But I'm gonna wrap up this video here. So if you want to see more of my Let's Play here in the first Descendant, guys, or any other game that I might be playing on my channel, just hit that subscribe button. If you learned anything new in today's video, because I know I talk a lot in these videos, and there's probably videos out there that go over everything that I said in like maybe 10 minutes. But I like to explain in my train of thought and on my thought pattern how I think this will work and how I think it might work in the future. And that means I have a little bit more explaining to do than the average I guess, well, full informational YouTuber out there. So yeah, if you did not mind this video being a little bit longer and going more into depth on how I think about Valby, and I do honestly have to say, guys, I'm really happy that I went for Valby first. Bunny is probably gonna be insane as well, but I'm really happy that I went for Valby first. So yeah, if you like this video, guys, give it a thumbs up, would help out a lot, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.